Right, in this video, we're going to go over important tax forms and the purpose they serve, okay? So this is for our personal finance class, so this is going to be geared more towards teens. So these are the forms that you're going to need when you file your income taxes, okay? So if you're starting a new job, there's two forms you need to fill out, okay? And you can see a small image of one here. The first one's called the I-9, okay? The I-9 is the form that verifies your eligibility to work in the United States, okay? It's a 3-page form provided to you by the USCIS, okay? And again, you can see the first page there. It's a small version, of course, but you can see the first page. Right here, you can see where it says Form I-9, all right? The next form you're going to need to fill out when you start a new job is the W-4, okay? You can fill out, sometimes it's just the front page that you'll fill out. If necessary, there's a couple, other pages that you could fill out if your situation merited, okay? So the W-4 is a form that indicates to your employer what your tax situation is and how much should be withheld from your check, okay? Later in class, we're going to actually analyze some W-4s, all right? You should fill out the I-9 and the W-4 before beginning work, okay? When you do your initial paperwork at your job, before you get started, both those forms should be filled out, okay? This is an IRS form, the W-4. Okay. Once it's time to file your taxes, okay, the W-2 form is one of the most important forms that you'll receive, okay? You can see a version, this is a blank version of a W-2, okay? So employers are going to complete the W-2 for each of their employees, all right? The form indicates the annual earnings that you would have had at any of your jobs. If you had one job, you would get one W-2. If you had two jobs, you'll get two W-2s and so on. Okay. The form also lists federal, state, and local taxes that were paid, and any other withholdings could be listed here as well. Okay. You can see on the form there's Social Security tax, there's Medicare tax, there's any tips you might have earned if you were, a server or a bartender or something like that. Okay, which is a common job for young people. All right. So there's all the information you would need to file your taxes. Most of the information you would need to file your taxes will be there, okay? You're going to need the W-2 in order to file your taxes, and you should receive this from your employer by January 31st at the latest, okay? You should get it before then, but you should get it by the 31st at the latest. If you haven't, you need to reach out to your employer to make sure you get that form, okay? And again, this is an IRS form, all right? The next form you might receive is the 1099. Not everybody receives a 1099, okay? There are a variety of 1099s. For example, there's a 1099 DIV, which is for dividends earned. If you own stocks that paid dividends, you would receive one of these. There's also a 1099 INT, which is for interest earned. So if you had an interest-bearing savings account or something like that, you would receive one of these. You can see this is one of the 1099 dividend versions, should you receive one of those, okay? You should also receive this in January, just like your W-2, okay? Taxpayers generally provide information to the IRS about money earned outside of their regular salary, okay? And this is generally money that wasn't taxed previously, okay? So you really need to provide this information to the IRS. So there's a full accounting of the money that you earned in the tax year, okay? Again, this is an IRS form, all right? And the final main form we're going to talk about is the 1040, okay? The 1040 is the most common form that U.S. taxpayers use to file their taxes, okay? The form breaks down your earnings and your deductions to determine your taxable income, okay? It's also going to determine the amount of tax that you owed, okay, throughout the year. Not necessarily what you paid, but what you owe, all right? And if you're going to receive a refund, that would show up on this form as well, okay? There's a formula that you'll need to go through to fill in all the sections of the 1040, okay? This is an IRS form that's generally due by April the 15th, okay? In 2020, they moved it back because of the pandemic to July 15th. And in 2021, that date's been moved back to May 15th, if I'm not mistaken, okay? But expect that to move back to April 15th in the very near future, okay? So those are the most important tax forms for you as you learn about taxes and how to file.